Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to the January 2024 Energetic Insights. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Deepika Mystery, and I'm an intuitive guide, energy healer, coach, and a consultant. And for over 4 years now, I've been sharing these insights on a month-by-month basis. And it's really geared up for those of you that are becoming more and more consciously aware of your intuitive and energetic abilities and are looking for some practical guidance to help you to navigate your way through. So if that sounds like you, welcome, you're here at the right place. Happy New Year to you all. I don't know about you, but I'm so happy to leave 2023 in the past. It was an absolute poop festival for me. And I know speaking to so many of you, it was the same. So I am grateful to be here in 2024. I can definitely feel the new vibrations, the new energies, and I can't wait to dive in with you and explore what's going to be going on energetically this year and for this month. But before I go into the insights and the energies for 2024 and the energies for January, I just want to say again a massive thank you for all of you that have watched these insights and watched the December ones and just wrote really kind and thoughtful comments and messages. It really touched my heart, and at some moments I had like little tears coming down my eyes. I had no idea the impact these insights have had on for so many of you, and I almost stopped doing them a year ago. So just want to say thank you again, Abby. I know I've said it a million times, but if it wasn't for Abby's comment in last January's insights, I would not be doing this. So the universe has a way of inspiring us, which then has a knock-on effect as well. So, right. With that, I want to firstly announce the 2 winners, and thank you for all of the 31 entries across YouTube and also on Instagram. Thank you so much for entering the prize draw. And the 2 winners, I can hear like a drum roll. My guides are very funny today, so I might be giggling throughout this whole kind of insight. So the 2 winners are Ping Chong 8034. And that's the handle for the YouTube, and the other one is Pims 5462. So if that's you, go to my website, go to the contact section and message me, and I will send you ways in which you can go ahead and book your session in with me. And also, there's a little surprise as well here for you guys. Just my way of saying thank you, because I was not expecting 31 entries whatsoever. I thought maybe like 10 of you guys might respond. But yeah, I was kind of blown away by the 31 entries. So I just want to say a massive thank you. And with that, for the whole month of January, so you can pay and book for your session, and you can have it in January or in February, or even in March, depending on when there's availability. But I am going to do £50 off on the session. All you need to do is just go straight to my website and book yourself in, and that's it. And that price is available till the end of January. So thank you again. And also, I just want to say a warm welcome to the 20 new subscribers that have subscribed to this channel in the last month. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you. And if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, please do go ahead and hit the subscribe button. As I've mentioned before, this helps me, and it helps reach the people that need to see these insights as well. Okay, let's dive into the energies for January. Sorry, I'm feeling very excited. So just allow yourself to be in that energy, because that energy is actually really coming from my guides team at the moment. So this month, the energy feels very dynamic. So it's almost like something will go off here, something will go off there, something will happen over here, and something will happen over there. So it feels very dynamic. It's very colorful. And also, just to remind you, we had the final plot twist energy taking place at the end of December, beginning of January. And the guides were kind of saying this is still playing out and it's still active until the end of January. So still expect the unexpected. But here's a little twist. Here's a plot twist in a plot twist. They're actually saying it's a nice surprise. So I'm really excited about that. I have no idea what that looks like or what it is or how that is. It could just be something that feels really liberating and freeing. That's the other sense that I'm kind of getting. This month, for some of us, it will feel like there is a slow start, but things will start to pick up from the 11th of January. I think many of us, we often think, okay, here we go, we've gotten into the new year, let's get going. But sometimes it's not always like that. It takes a couple of days to adjust to the energies and stuff. So I get this sense there's going to be a push forward, a forward momentum from the 11th of January onwards. And up until then, it may feel a little bit wonky, like you're still processing some of the old 2023 energies. Just remember, you haven't gone backwards. You're just kind of clearing out some of the loose ends that still, as always, some of the themes from the previous month still kind of play out in the next month. And then from the 24th and the 25th of January, as I mentioned in the December insights, there is going to be, I can't remember what it is. It's almost like the go live support ends and there's going to be this propelling motion forwards. It's almost like we're going to be propelled forward. And the image that I'm getting is, imagine that a propeller goes off and you're standing in front of the propeller and you're just pushed forward. And it's not even a push forward, it's pull forward. That's the sensation I'm getting. So it's propel forward, but it's a pulling sensation. So what the guides were saying about this energy is the key to this and how to navigate it and work your way through. Don't ever forget your grounding. Grounding is going to be so important this month and for the rest of this year. But specifically for this month, it's trust and surrender. It's key to embracing this energy that we're kind of moving through, and it will also trust in ourselves and the guidance that we're getting, but also I think there's a deeper trust and surrendering in relationships as well. So that's just something new that's come in. So hopefully that makes a little bit more sense to you guys. All right. I have an overall message for this month from the guides, and it's an interesting one. So the guides are saying, the reawakening and coming forward of your soul is underway. The transition at times will feel slow, yet it's happening at a speed the mind cannot fathom. This is how it has to be. You are creating and moving into a world where there is one language that speaks in frequency of your higher heart. So that felt really cryptic to me, but it makes sense because I had to, and I mean, I've done some, so those of you that don't know what the higher heart is, it's a chakra. So we've got the heart center, we've got the throat, and then the higher heart kind of sits in between the throat and the heart center. And I couldn't remember from all the healing work that I've done what it was about. So I had to look this up, and I will suggest for you guys to just kind of Google the higher heart chakra and get some meanings and definitions for it, because I think there's a clue in this for each and every one of us. But the key things that I've pulled out from the quick kind of search that I've done, and I do need to go a bit more in detail with this, but it says that it's living your personal truth and doing so with passion and conviction. And it's about unconditional love, forgiveness, compassion. And the other words I kind of got was seat of the soul. And this makes so much sense because the first part of the message was this coming forward of your soul. You know, our soul part, our soul essence is coming through, and it's coming through in our physical human being. And unconditional love really sets up here as well. So I think that this is really about letting us know where we're kind of heading and what frequency we're heading into and what that frequency space holds. So it is about we're moving into a space where there's a lot more unconditional love, forgiveness, and compassion. And it starts first within ourselves. So loving ourselves unconditionally, forgiving ourselves, and being compassionate to all the various different parts that we have within ourselves. I do get a sense that we are moving into this new way of being more of, like I've said, more of our soul's energy in our actual human being. So I would just suggest listening to that message. There is this, with these messages that come directly from the guides, there are so many different layers, and it's giving us so many different informations on various different layers as well. So if we just try to translate it all with the mind, it doesn't always make sense. So I always encourage you to, when you listen to it, listen with an open heart, and you'll feel the energies that kind of come through these messages from the guides. All right, let's move on to the, I was going to move on to the first theme, but let's take a moment to recap the themes from December, because as always, they're still going to be playing out this month. So the 4 key themes from December were karmic completion, rebalancing choices, destiny awaits, and changing of times. I would actually encourage you to listen back to the message around changing of times. I think a lot of that was kind of gearing us up for the energies for 2024, and there's again a lot of information packed in those words. It's not necessarily about the words, but it's about the energy behind the words. So I just invite you to feel these messages that are coming directly through from the guides. All right, let's move on to the first theme for this month, and this theme is called 2024 energies, and there are only 3 themes for this month, purely because this theme is going to take quite a bit of time to kind of unpack. So let's dive into it. All right, I have a message from the guides initially, okay, and they're saying, we are the new guardians of Earth, and we're here to assist you with a shift in frequency in the human consciousness. It is no coincidence you are here. It is no coincidence you adopted the conditionings. Your experience are fated to forge the path for those yet to come. Earth herself is changing. Her frequency is rising. You are one with her, and she is one with you, and we are one of you. And that one packed a real punch, didn't it? I mean, I think I tripped over the last bit, and I was just like, did you really want to say we are one of you or one with you? And they said, no, one of you. So that is really interesting, because I think as we go through, I've got like 8 different points for this theme, and there's 8 different energies I think that are going to be playing out throughout 2024. And, you know, there is I think there's a realization that I think many of us are having at the moment, that I think after, you know, we go deep within ourselves and our human parts of us break open and our hearts break open and all our poop kind of comes out, there's more space for our soul's essence to kind of come through and shine through. And I feel that there's this, in this message, there's a realization, and I think throughout of this year, many of us are going to realize who we actually are, why we're actually here, and what we're here actually to do. So, and there's also this sense of coming together, there's a sense of reunion, and a deeper sense of our purpose that's here at play at the moment. So with that, let's go into the 8 specific kind of energies that I kind of, and this is going to play out throughout this year. So the first one is fast. So this is like a sub-theme, can't even speak, a sub-theme for the energies for this year. And I think it's, again, going back to theme 4 from last month. And the last part of that theme, the guides basically says, time of great change where time ceased to exist. So I think this is what they meant, that it's going to be a very, very, very fast year. And the sense that I kind of got from this is, because it's going to be a fast year, and this whole sense of the time ceasing to exist. So we're going to feel like we don't have enough time. So what the guides are saying is to enjoy each and every moment, and, you know, be brave, be bold, hug more, kiss more, love more. And, you know, you won't get moments like this again. And I think that is the key thing. So really be, and the reason why I'm saying be brave, be bold, because it requires us to have this open heart and really be present. And through that, we can enjoy each and every one of these moments to the fullest and the maximum. So we don't kind of walk away from life and with regret. So we're kind of fully embodying and living life to the max, and it's done with an open heart. So I think that's why many of us had to go through what we had to go through. I wouldn't even just say last year, I would say it's from 2020. I think many of us have been on this massive 3-year journey, and we're still on that journey, but things are getting clearer and we're more in alignment with our soul's essence here. So then number 2 is there's going to be more soul reunions. And this is powerful. And this one really touches me quite deeply because I resonate with it quite a lot. And I'm seeing some of that play out. And I saw some of that playing out in 2023 as well. And so there's different ways in which the soul, where this soul reunion energy will kind of be moving through. So there's more of a reconnection with our own soul's energy. So we'll know who we are more on a soul level. We'll become more familiar with that energy because we're going to be. It's almost like we're going to be that energy. So there's going to be a reconnection with that. And that kind of goes back to the fact that, when many of us, and I really identify with this, many of us have felt like, we've had something's been missing in our lives, that we never fitted into a family, we never fitted into groups of friends, in work. We've almost been like this kind of black sheep. And I think it's not just few of us. I think there's many of us that have felt this way since we were born, and some of us felt like we've been born in the wrong family. Like, what the F am I doing here? Who are these people? This is not my family. And I think there's the reason why I'm saying this is that there's going to be more reunions with our soul groups and more realization and recognition. So we may be with our soul groups and soul families right now, but we haven't had that awareness or the recognition from it. So then there's different types. So your guide team. So the first one is the guide family. There's a strengthening in communication and connection with your guide team. So, and then they'll start to feel more like your family, in some cases more than your human family as well. So you've got this extended family that is sitting in a completely different realm to the realm that we're sitting in, but it feels like home and it feels like family. And this is part of the reason is because we're connecting with the guide team's energy to bring more of that energy through our human being. And then there's another sense here around community. So what will happen this year, we'll get a deeper sense of belonging. We will attract people. We will become part of a community that we are more in alignment with. And the reason for this is because so many of us have done so much clearing over the last 3 years that we are more in alignment with ourselves. So as we're more in alignment with ourselves, we start to recognize each other through our energy. And I think that is really, really exciting. So it's almost like our energy is drawing us into the right communities. It's without effort, basically. It's just the energy speaking and the energy is drawing us into the right community. So it's take action when you get inspired. So for me, for example, I was inspired to do Zouk dancing, and I am now part of a community that I feel just absolutely amazing in. And that wouldn't have happened unless I followed that inspired action. And normally the inspired action kind of feels foreign, and it's something that we don't want to do because it feels unfamiliar, uncomfortable, and it's not something that we do. I just encourage you to do it because I think that those are the clues that will lead us to where we need to go and connect with our soul family. And then the other one is around soulmates. So this comes in so many different forms. Many of us think the soulmates of a romantic relationship, romantic partnership. There are so many levels to this. And I'll give you one example. So one of my best friends, we have known each other for, I don't know, over 10 years or something like that. And it was only last year that we kind of sat down saying, yeah, I think we instead of calling each other soul mates, we called each other soul friends. Like, we just know each other, we recognize each other, and we just get each other. There's, and a lot of times it is without words as well. So, and we had that conversation. So what I'm saying here is, in terms of the soulmate connection, if you're already in a relationship or if you're already in a partnership, you will start to recognize that soul connection, and that will start to deepen. And I've seen some people that are in romantic relationships at the moment that have met their soulmates, that is going to get deeper. So you're going to connect on a much deeper level. And for some of you, you may recognize that, hang on a second, you know what, I'm desiring this. So it may get you to change who you're, change things in your life that need to be changed, so that there's space for these soul connections to kind of come through. And I think there's going to be a greater awareness and a deepening of intimacy. So again, so those of you that are single and are looking for your soulmate partner, this year may be a really good year for those connections to kind of happen. And even if you're in a relationship, there's a more kind of deepening of intimacy as well. And here's a little trippy thing as well. What the guys were saying is that some of these soulmates, we haven't had these soul connections because they haven't yet been born, or they're not here yet on the planet, and some of them are in the guide team realms. So for some of you, you may be giving birth, or you may be giving birth to a new child that is going to be this kind of soul connection, soulmate connection. So I think there's many opportunities. This actually really warms my heart, because this makes me really excited. I'm saying, yes, finally, hopefully there's a soulmate for me as well too. But on the flip side, this can also shake things up. So some of you may meet your soulmates, and you'll meet them because you need to come together to shake things up, but they're not meant to stay in your life. So you may even experience that. So just be open to the connections, remembering that these connections are designed by you on a soul level, and there's a purpose behind that, and it's for the good for you, and the good for, and for the greater good. So I really want to, there's so many detailed layers to this, but hopefully that gives you a little bit of excitement, like I'm kind of feeling. It's like, yeah, finally I get to go home. Anyway, right. So here's another thing. So the third one I got was trippy, and I think I've just been tripping in the last kind of theme. So there's going to be this sense of a trippy sensation throughout this year. In some cases, we're not going to be able to believe believe in how things are manifesting, what things are kind of appearing in like a really good way. And also we're not going to believe how things are unfolding. It can be quite shocking to our system. So it's a little bit trippy. So it's both. So it can be something that's really positive and something that can be quite negative as well. And it's a little trippy, but in many ways, I think what the guides are trying to remind us is that we are co-creating this. So if we don't like what we see, we can go back within ourselves and say, okay, what am I doing, and what part of me is co-creating this, or what part of me is tripping over this? I think there's double meaning to this as well. So in some sense it's trippy because we're seeing things or experiencing things just like it really boggles our mind. And in other ways it's like, what the guys are also saying, we may also be flipping between the different dimensions. Again, that's quite mind-boggling, especially if our connection with our guide team has strengthened and the communication is really strong there. And then and the guides are saying, and they're cracking up at the moment, they're basically saying, for some of us, it may feel like we're in this kind of sci-fi movie. So that, just be aware of it, aware of that. That's the energy that's playing out. And the key thing is to make sure that you ground and you come back into your heart center and be the observer in all of this. And if you find yourself in fear, go into that fear and befriend that fear. It's so juicy this year on such a different level. It's so positive, yet it can also feel, because of the dynamic nature of the energies this year, it can feel a little bit trippy, especially those of us that are holding on really tight. We will find that we are tripping over ourselves as well. And with that, this kind of leads into the next bit, which is the fourth one, which is the splitting of paths that I see in this year. And I've been seeing this since like October last year, but I haven't mentioned it because I think it's more relevant. I started to see some of those energies kind of starting to come through October, November, with the rebirthing energy that was there. And this is a splitting of path. So depending on who you are and the inner work that you've done and the clearing that you've done, you know, I think we all have been given opportunities to go within ourselves. Some of us have taken it, some of us haven't, depending on our level of consciousness and depending on why we're here and what we're here to learn. So it's and whether we're ready for it or not. And again, there is no judgment here at all. We are all on our own unique path, and I think it's really important to honor that. So what I'm getting is that there's a splitting of paths. So you'll see that, and then we're already kind of seeing this kind of divide. There's some of us that are moving into a new frequency, a new level of consciousness, which, you know, we've cleared out our internal space, kind of worked through our wounding, healed our wounding. We're in this kind of new space, and we recognize that we are co-creating with the universe. And then some of us are still holding on to the old structure, the old ways of doing things, the old ways of being, because it feels comfortable, and the other part feels really scary. And that is just, there's some inner work that needs to be done on that level so that you can feel safe in the unknown. We are safe in the unknown, but we've not been taught how to feel safe when things are unknown, and we've not been taught how to co-create with the universe. So this is like, we're in this space where we're learning and we're helping each other, you know, helping each other along on their path as well. And what I've also been seeing between the splitting of paths, if you do decide, if you are somebody that is holding on tightly and haven't yet been able to go on to the other path, there are going to be like these rainbow bridges where, you know, you'll be able to cross it. So it doesn't mean that if you are on one path, you cannot go on to the higher frequency path. You can, because there are going to be bridges along the way. There are going to be many, many of us that are part of our purpose is to help others to cross over and to cross over that kind of rainbow bridge. So that's the image that I'm kind of getting. But ultimately, it's your choice. You know, to be on one path, it is to go within yourself. It's not something that is outside of yourself, and it's not something that you'll get by doing things on the outside world. You will have to go within yourself and look at yourself. Look at all the, you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly within yourself. Especially the shadow work is very, very important. And if you're spiritually bypassing, you will think that you're on one path, but you're actually on the other path. And depending on what you're attracting, that will tell you what path you're actually on, and how you're feeling in your body will also tell you which path that you're on. And remember that no one path is better than the other. They're just two paths. It's just a splitting of ways. And one is holding on to the old, and the other one is creating the new. So again, there's no right or wrong to it, so please do not think one is higher or better than the other. It's all down to what we've signed up on a soul level, on what we have chosen to experience, but also we have free will, so we can choose whichever path that we want to be on. So, you know, one path, there is a bit more work to be done on an inner level. Right, let's move on to, I've got another 1, 2, 3, 4 more. So the 5 ones is inside out. So the energy for this year, again, a lot of it is going to be creating it from the inside out in the way in which we live. So many of us have lived a life where, you know, we got the job, we got the house, we got the partner, we got the children, we got the dog, we got the car, you know, the whole thing. And we've created this creality that is about all these things outside of us, but many of us feel really empty and lonely within. So this is about creating your outside world from the inside out. So many of us will be taken on this inner journey this year, and those of us that have been doing this work for a while will go even deeper within ourselves, and we will be manifesting things quite quickly as well. So the power of manifestation is really, it's happening in an instant here, so we don't have to wait so long. So be really mindful of what you're feeling and thinking within yourself, because it will show up quite quickly in your external environment. And those of you that are still trying to create on the outside, or trying to feel good about yourself with outside things, you're going to feel this kind of tightening sensation and this kind of restriction. It's almost like you are walking against the current or trying to row the boat against the current. That's what the guides are kind of showing me. So if you are getting that sensation, take a moment and go inside and have a look at how you're feeling within yourself, and that will help you to navigate your way through. Again, I will be going through these themes throughout this year because I think we're going to go to another level of depth with each of these things. The next one is AI consciousness. Oh gosh, I love this theme on so many levels. AI just excites me on so many different ways. One with my, because I've got a background in IT and consulting, so in that sense I'm getting excited, but also on a conscious level in terms of the energetics behind this as well. So the key thing what I got from the guides is with AI, there's a lot of fear around that. There's excitement, but there's also a lot of fear. So it's really important to address the fears that AI produces. So in some cases it will be, I'm going to, the fear of losing the jobs. In some other cases it's, we've seen all these sci-fi movies with AI taking over. So I think the key thing is to address that fear. If that fear goes unaddressed, then we will be creating from that space of fear. And because manifestation is happening so quickly at the moment, if we're fearing like doomsday, we will end up creating that doomsday. So we can prevent those doomsday creations by addressing our own internal fear. And there's a space and the way that I've seen right now, it's not showing me one way or another, because we are co-creating our reality right now with the universe, with the energetics, and it's all about the frequencies here at the moment. So if you're in the AI space, come back to your heart center. And you can just set the intention. You can talk all the technical languages that you need to talk with your clients and everything like that, but come back into your heart center and building from a place where it's collaborative, where it's helpful. So AI's there's a space for it. We're already using AI, especially with all of us that have got smartphones. There is a space for it. And just be mindful, always check in with yourself. Are you coming from a place for greed, of the energy of greed, out of control? And control and manipulation. So greed, control and manipulation. So those are the energies that it can have a devastating effect, but there are other energies that are there to be played with and can have a really positive impact as well on our lives. And I think what the guides are saying, there's a war within ourselves when it comes to AI. So the more we can go into that and really start to understand ourselves and the war that's happening within ourselves, that will help us to kind of create from a much more positive energy, much more higher frequency as well. The next one is victim consciousness. Again, I think this kind of all of these kind of linked in. There is going to be a rise in victim consciousness. And I think part of that is, many of us, we are victims because in some ways when we have been the victims, our needs get met, we get saved, someone comes along and takes care of us. So we've learned that that's a behavioral response, and many of us have learned that. And also it takes away that responsibility. Oh, I have to do something, someone else is going to do it. But I think this is why it's rising, because it's getting squeezed out of us. So the more that we become aware of our own victim states of being, and many of us will find it, okay, in different situations, oh, I'm playing out the victim. Oh, why am I playing that out? What needs of mine are not getting met, and how can I meet those needs of my own? Oh, what expectations do I have on myself and other people, and what am I projecting outside? So those are the things that you can ask yourself and sit with yourself and go through that, and that will help you move through these energies as well. And we'll see a lot of this kind of playing out in the collective, especially with holding on to the old structures. This is going to be quite big in victim consciousness. Right, and then the final thing for this year's energy, oh gosh, it's so, I don't even know if I should say it, I'm just going to say it, but the words I got was key popping moments. Popping open is the sensation I'm getting, and it's almost like, just think about something popping open. And basically what I got, there's the biggest one that is going to happen here is end of March, and there's a period between end of March and beginning of May. And this is the biggest pop. And what I'm being shown is that there's beautiful light coming in. So that's raising our frequency. So it's almost putting it's like a pressure cooker, a boiling effect. So it's having this boiling effect with whatever needs to be released out of our systems, flushed out of our systems, released out of us, it's going to pop. There's this energies that are coming in, it's squeezing, 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 and it's going to pop open. So it's almost like a zip, really. And there's going to be another one in the beginning of August and another one in September. Part of September, there's going to be a break in October and again back in November. So this is just flashes. So the way that I saw it was like flashes of light. There's an increase in light, in the energy of light, and it's just basically when something reaches its boiling point, it just pops. Something gets released, there's a relief to it, and there's a clear up energy about it. So yeah, 2024 is a massive year. Actually, it's funny that I said years, because I think it's going to feel like we've lived many years in 1 year. So we're going to have experiences of multiple years in probably in 1 year, and I think that then goes back to the fast-paced nature of 2024. Right, I need to kind of come back into my body, because this energy is just really moving through me at the moment. And so this next theme is theme 2, and this is called Naked and Alive. And the message I got from the guides is this: you did not die as you were not alive. To be alive, you must first become naked. Your resistance is deafening to your truth. You came here naked. You will leave here naked. And you have chosen to live in your naked form in this incarnation. Only in your nakedness will you ever feel alive. It is time. Embrace the discomfort on your unknown path, yet it is so well known. So again, I think these messages are really cryptic this month. Gosh, and the image, just to help along with this, the image that I got for this, and I'll try and break some of this down, but again, just taking the energy that's come through from this message. The image that I got was almost like we've come to the water. We've traveled so far, and we're at this place with this beautiful lake. It's so still, it's so peaceful. You can see the stars up in the sky. There's a midnight blue black sky with the stars in the sky. The moon is reflecting on the still water, so you can almost see the sky in the actual water because of the reflection. But also, I'm seeing there's a part of it where I can see perfectly blue skies and the sun shining. So you've got this contrast of day and night, the sun and the moon and the stars, and it's all being reflected on this water. And basically the image is you're kind of taking off this silky robe and stepping in to this water, and then you're stepping out on the other side. So I'm going to see if I can translate this. I think for many of us, 2023, and even I would say from like 2020, to be honest, many of us started this process. But 2023 was a really, really deep year for death and rebirth cycles. So, and I think part of this message is actually saying, that you didn't die because you weren't really alive. It was your egos. It's your ego that had 1,000 deaths last year, so that the soul can emerge. So there's the sense of the breaking of the human mind and feeling the human emotions. I think many of us, we have our ego, we use our ego to protect the emotions that we do not know how to process. So I think part of what last year was kind of allowing us to have these experiences, whether it was with people, soulmates, work situations, whatever it was, it just kind of squished us to get us to feel things that we haven't felt, and it was to break the ego and the conditionings and the patterns that we had that were there to kind of like suppressing those emotions as well. And this is also about reconnecting to the body, because it is a powerful vessel. And I think we're also going to see this year how powerful our bodies are. I think, there's a lot of, I'm not going to go into too much detail around it, but I think those of you that are watching probably know that there's more to our bodies than we actually do know. And I think it's a very powerful vessel that we do not fully know how to use. So I think part of this as well, this theme is about conditionings have been cleared. So I think as we move through this, what I'm seeing is like the soul, our soul essence is emerging through this process. So for this month, there's still this kind of, I feel it's like let's call it purifying, because I think we've done so much completion and clearing. This is like a purification. So it is going to feel uncomfortable because we're stepping into something that we've never stepped into before. The path is unknown, and we're stepping out onto a path that we've never actually walked along. But yeah, on some level, we do know what that path is. Our soul knows. So what the guides are saying to help with this is to, it's really interesting, is to each day do something you've never done before. Have a look at your patterns. What patterns are not good for you, and you know you want to break them, and intentionally break them, and do something every day. So if you are a smoker, and maybe that's a pattern, and you have this pattern, maybe break that pattern. Break when you smoke. It's not to say you stop smoking, but you break your pattern of behavior. Or, you know, in some cases, for me, I don't like sometimes doing different things. I get comfortable in my comfort zone. So what I did over Christmas is to not be in London. I went away for Christmas and spent it with a really good friend of mine. So, you know, that was a moment of breaking the pattern. So doing something that is uncomfortable, but actually when you do it, it's like, oh, this is I'm going to do this again because this feels more like me. So I think that's the whole thing. You find more of yourself by breaking your patterns. These patterns, what you're really doing is you're breaking the conditionings that you're stuck in. We are creatures of habit, so sometimes we need that extra little bit of push to break those patterns to really rediscover who we truly are. And also, there is a sense, the more we kind of do that, and I'm going to use a phrase that my friend, who's a total geek, AI geek, she goes pattern matching, and that makes so much sense. So if we start to break our own patterns on an energetic level, we will be supported to breaking more of those patterns. So that's why I say it's a pattern matching. If, however, we hold on tightly to what we're doing and not wanting to break the patterns, or we recognize, oh, I no longer carry this conditioning, oh, that feels really uncomfortable, and then what we can do is seek to rebuild that conditioning again even after it's broken, then it will pattern match. So it's basically however you show up, you'll be supported in that way by the energies. So if you're breaking things and moving forward and being positive and manifesting things that your heart's desire, you'll get more of it. So I think this is the whole sense. Depending on who you are, where you are, you will start to get more of who you are, and that's going to be reflected back to you. So yeah, it's a very, very, very powerful theme this month. And as I mentioned, there's only 3 themes for this month, and the final theme is called presence. And I'm going to again start off with a message from the guides, and the guides are saying, your presence is needed. In your presence, not only can you be felt, we can be felt. With turbulent times ahead, your presence will be your saving grace. You must clear your mind, embody your body, and center yourself in your heart. Maintain your presence, and your soul shall shine as the realities dance. So, that's another cryptic message once again. And I've got some tools on how you can be present, but just really wanted to go into this, especially this bit about in your presence, not only can you be felt, we can be felt. So what I'm getting from that, it is, I think we're moving into a space where our presence is going to be felt. So if we've got conflict within ourselves, and we're engaging with someone, even that conflict is within ourselves and we haven't dealt with it, it will be felt by people that we're interacting. So it's almost like people are going to start to react and to respond to our presence. So if we are in our minds and not present, you know, they will respond to that. But also, the more presence that we are, I think it will encourage people to, how can I explain it? I think what the guides are trying to say is our presence will have an impact on those around us. So the more present that we are, the more impact that we're going to have in a positive way. And also because the more present we are, the more of the guides' energies will start to come through us. So then that has a ripple effect, and that will help with everything that is going on, because we are going through a period of great evolutionary change on multiple different levels. And so this is part of the process, and I'm just getting goosebumps as I'm saying that at the moment. So this is part of that process. So the key thing is, the more presence that you are, it will be something that will help you, and it will help those around you. But the key thing for us is to, make sure that our mind is clear, make sure that we are in our bodies and we're coming from our heart center, because all of those three things will help us be more present. And some of the tools that you can use to make sure that you are present is to acknowledge, take moments and take time to kind of acknowledge and love your wounds. And in that, you give yourself an opportunity to heal. Be kind and compassionate to yourself and those around you. Be an observer, observe your triggers, observe your thoughts, the actions, your reactions. And the conditionings, and a good way of doing this is kind of just journaling and reflecting on your day, and taking moments throughout your day and asking yourself, why did I do that? Why am I thinking that? Or why is that thought going through my head? Why am I feeling that in my body? And you start questioning, and if you bring the energy of curiosity, that will help you to be more present as well. Again, befriend your fear. So know your fears, acknowledge them, don't be afraid of your fears, become friends with them, and be with them. Because by being with your fears, and you travel with your fears do not control you. You are working alongside your fear and doing it anyway. So it's really, really important, that one. And then also, there's something here around integration. So integrating with all the different aspects of yourself. So if you're someone that compartmentalizes, so you're here, you're this person when you're at work, you're this person when you're at home, you're this person when you're with your friends, you're this person when you're with your community, and it goes on and on and on and on and on, and then you're kind of split in all these different areas. Who are you in that? So what it is coming back home to yourself and being in center, and taking yourself to work, taking yourself into the family, taking yourself, because I think that's where we feel empty sometimes. That's where sometimes loneliness kind of creeps in, and we feel like we're just here on our own. And I think the more we can take ourselves into each of these places, the more richer our connections will get, and the more present we become as well. So, and also the other part of this is the integration, is in integrating the different aspects of yourself. So the inner child, the wounded parts of yourself, your shadow parts. So all of this is to kind of integrate it. Meditation is great, journaling, as I've said already, walk in nature. And this one, I'm not saying this because it's something that I love doing, but this is I got from the guide, but cold plunges, because that really brings you right bang into this moment. You have no time to think, because your body is trying to keep itself warm. So it's a really great way of being present, and you kind of walk out with this really beautiful calm feeling as well. And then another way to be more present is be around dogs, other little sentient beings, if you shall call it that. And young children are very, very present, and they make you be very present as well. And you'll see how not present you are when you are in the company of little children and dogs, because they can tell straight away, and they reflect that back to us straight away as well. So, well, what an insight it's gone on. This is probably the longest insight, so I will try and break up each of the sections for you, so that you can go back to the different parts. You may want to watch this in different goes. So this was a long insight. Thank you so much. If you're still here watching this, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this and you have found this really valuable, please do go ahead and share it with your loved ones, your community, your friends, your colleagues, and your family. I would love to hear from you. I mean, last month when you guys commented, it really touched my heart. So if there's any questions that you got about these insights, or anything that you're resonating with, please do comment below. I love hearing from you, and I love interacting with you, and I love responding back to your comments as well. It's kind of fun for me. And do leave us thumbs up as well. And then if you haven't already, do make sure you subscribe. And then this month, the energetic alignment is group healing journey. It's taking place on Sunday the 28th of January at our usual time, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, and I think 6 p.m. UK time and 7 p.m. Central European time. And the theme this month is called Naked and Alive. And then also I have a little gift, another gift for you guys. So many of you guys have asked about love, loss and grief, energetic insights, and not insights, the alignment session, and also destiny awaits. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to put that up in the shop so you can purchase it, and there's a special on that for the month of January. So if that is resonating with you, you can go back and listen to the recordings, and if you have any questions, I'll support you in the Facebook group. All of those details will be there. But that is it for this month. Thank you so much for being here and watching these insights. And gosh, have an awesome 2024. I can't believe how many times I said that. But anyway, thank you so much. Take care and see you next month. Bye for now.